So in this video we're going to be talking about minor 7 arpeggios and how we could play them on bass guitar and how we should practice them on bass guitar and how to learn the sort of geometry of the arpeggio up and down the neck. Now in the past videos we were looking at the basic triads, and in the last one we looked at a major 7 arpeggio. We're not going to be able to look at all the shapes since adding just one note to a basic triad creates a whole new realm of possible fingerings. But we're going to look at sort of the best of, and you can sort of practice these and then try and find out some more. Now, if you already know your way around a minor pentatonic scale on bass all the way up and down the neck, you already probably have a decent idea of how to do it. Do the minor 7 arpeggio, since the minor 7 arpeggio is basically the same thing as a minor pentatonic minus the 4. Minor 7 arpeggio is 1 flat 3 5 flat 7. Minor pentatonic is 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7. So same sort of thing. Now let's take a look at the basic 3-string 1-octave shape of a minor 7 pentatonic. Let's start with a C minor 7. So we got C with the first finger, E flat 4th finger, G 3rd finger, B flat 1st finger, C 4th finger. Now, I know I'm a big proponent of always using 1, 2, 4, but in this case I generally find myself fingering that G with my 3rd finger versus the 2nd finger. 3rd finger, 2nd finger, or 2nd finger. So there's the basic shape. There's a bunch more that you can use in 3 strings, 1 octave. Next shape I'd like to show you is this one, which goes C 4th finger, E flat 1st finger, G 4th finger, B flat 1st finger, C 4th finger. Now a sort of general overarching like triad or arpeggio fingering philosophy I like to use is that the best sort of fingerings just involve alternating between 1 and 4. Basically, it sort of removes the thought process. Your hand just kind of gets in the sort of natural habit of just going between 4 and 1 like that. And it ends up, at least for me, feeling a lot more natural than anything else. So that's why I like that one. Another one you could use is using the open G string, so C, E flat, open G, 1st finger on B flat. Now, a final sort of way of fingering in 3 strings, 1 octave, also uses this sort of back and forth between 1 and 4, which is C, 1, E flat 4, and then we get this little weird sort of pivot where we talked about in the minor triad arpeggio, where the 1st finger ends up being 1 fret behind the 4th finger, and that's going to play G. So that again is C, E flat, weird pivot, G with the 1st finger, B flat with the 4th finger, C with the 1st finger. So you can sort of see that how all minor triad shapes end up having that weird pivot for whatever reason. It's a minor triad, minor 7, and if you kept going up, you would still have that basic pivot in there. Cool, so now let's move along and look at some 1-octave 2-string shapes. First one is sort of based on based on this, but instead of grabbing the C here, we're going to grab the C up here. So we have C, E flat, weird pivot to G, and we're going to grab that B flat with our 2nd finger, and then the C with our 4th finger. Now you could play the same notes in the same positions with different fingerings, but I find that that's probably the one that I want to use and the one that is most efficient for me. You could also play it like this: C, E flat, 1st finger, and then play with the 3rd finger on B flat, and grab the C with your pinky. You could play it with, you should shift up and grab the B flat with your 1st finger and the C here, or you could play the B flat here and then shift up with your pinky here. I generally don't like shifting, jumping from position to position with the same finger, especially not the pinky. It just doesn't end up sounding as smooth. Another option you have for 2 strings, 1 octave, is this: C, E flat, grab G here with your pinky, and then shift with the 1st finger to the B flat here, C with your pinky. Final option you have is this one, C, E E flat with the pinky. And I know I just said don't shift with the same finger and shift positions with the same finger, but in this case it makes sense. I'm going to shift to this G here with the pinky from the E flat. The reason why it makes sense is because now your first finger is in prime position to now play this B flat right here. B flat there, C. Cool. Alright, so now let's take a look at the one string shape for one octave. In this case we have, we would probably play it like this. We have C, E flat, shift to the G here with your first finger, and then play the B flat maybe with your second finger, and then heading up that pattern with the C with your fourth finger. Now remember, that sort of same predicament of how to finger this three notes on the same string kind of came up in the one of the other fingerings. I could also play it with the third finger, the B flat there, and grab it with the C, or I could play it, shift up to the first finger, and then maybe play the C with my third. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it, but the general sort of philosophy is that the first two notes are at least going to be played with 1 and 4. Cool. Alright, so like with all the other videos, we're not going to take a look at how to play two octaves on 4 strings, because it's pretty self-explanatory. You can maybe come up with a couple different ways of doing it. Actually, you could come up with a lot. I'm more interested in playing 2 octaves on 3 strings, because that really forces you into a very horizontal kind of mindset, or vertical mindset, or whatever. Basically, thinking up and down the neck rather than this way. So the first one we're going to take a look at is this one. So we got C, E flat, weird pivot to G with the first finger, B flat with the fourth finger. Shift up to the first finger on C here, E flat. Could do a weird pivot here. Yeah, a little weird pivot here. So the E flat, the G right there, and then maybe the second finger on the E flat, and then grab the C right there with your pinky. I like that one. It's pretty simple. It flows nicely. You're not jumping all up and down and doing weird shifts all over the place. You could also do it this way. I like this one just because it has that sort of thing that I was talking about of going between 1 and 4 a lot. We have C, E flat, shift up to the G with your first finger, 4 with the B flat here, 1 with the C here, E flat with the pinky there, and then the same shape as the last one, going up with a 1, 2, 4. Another option you could have is doing the sort of upright style fingering, where you play horizontally on one string and then keep shifting up on the next couple strings. So we would do it this way. We'd probably play it like this. C, E flat, G, and now that we're on the G string, we're now just going to play the rest of it, shifting up on the G string. So G, B flat, C, E flat, G, B flat, C. That one really gets you moving up and down, and so that one's just good for practice. Anyway, so there's a bunch more you can mess with. There's a heck of a lot that I missed, I left out, but you can sort of hopefully begin to see sort of general symmetry and general patterns with the minor 7, and how it really does resemble all the shapes you might be practicing with the minor pentatonic. It's just good to really force you in the zone to not think about the 4 and just think about that basic 1, 3, 5, 7 structure of a minor 7 arpeggio. Anyway, next one we're going to talk about dominant 7th arpeggios, and yeah, stay tuned.